Hello everyone. This is going to be my last Dean's message. It's approaching 2 years since I commenced my term as Dean. It has gone very fast. When I started as Dean, it was a particularly poignant time. Our founder, Professor Michael Cousins, whose portrait is behind me here, had just passed away prior to my taking over the role from Kieran Davis in Brisbane in May of 2024. Obviously, all of us have a huge debt of gratitude to Michael and everything that he did, both for the Faculty of Pain Medicine, but also for ANZCA. One of the things that's always been a priority for me has been to maintain the profile of pain medicine. It's incredibly important that we do this. Unfortunately, we're still at a time when many people don't really know what we do. And recently, this was perhaps highlighted in a visit to New Zealand, where I was pleased to attend the New Zealand Pain Society conference. Now, one of the problems that we face in New Zealand has been the identification of the role of specialist pain medicine physicians. And one of the problems that our colleagues in New Zealand have faced is both from government and also from some other non-governmental bodies, for example, the Accident Compensation Corporation. Recent changes to the ACC contract for specialist pain medicine physicians, on the face of it, have looked very unfavourable. And I was pleased to offer my support to our New Zealand colleagues in a meeting that they had with the ACC. Now, I went into that meeting a little uncertain as to what my role should be and how strongly I should emphasise our position from the faculty. I have to say I needn't worry at all. Our New Zealand colleagues acquitted themselves superbly. There's no doubt they understand exactly who they are, and they made it clear to the ACC about what they might be missing by not using our expertise. One of the more difficult developments that has been, particularly over around about the last 18 months, has been the increasing pressure that has been placed on all medical colleges on both sides of the Tasman. And in such situations, there's a real risk to small medical colleges, such as the faculty, that we can be brushed aside by politicians. In this respect, the fact that we are a faculty of ANZCA means that we simply can't be brushed aside. And I'm especially grateful to the amazing work that the college have done, particularly the ANZCA president, Professor Dave Storey, Nigel Fidgen, who was our Chief Executive until the end of 2025, and more recently Dr. Lance Emerson, our new CEO. They've stood by us throughout, and that's been incredibly supportive. I've also been delighted and privileged to be a member of ANZCA Council, and I hope that I've represented us well in my time with them. I really look forward to seeing Dr. Tanya Selak take over as President of ANZCA as well. She has been a tower of strength for us through the last 2 years. There's been great progress on educational reforms within the faculty. We've stayed well abreast of the AMC requirements that were set out back in 2022. And it's been really positive to see how these are translated into work on the ground. And perhaps most importantly of this, the reform to the examination system, noting that we'll be rolling out the multiple choice exam at the end of this year. I'm particularly proud to have been the board sponsor for the Flexible Approach to Training in Enhanced Settings programme funded by the Australian Federal Government. And through this, we've seen 2 new training units being accredited, one in country Victoria and another in regional North Queensland. One of our major initiatives over the last few years has been the Education Standards Project, run with funding from the Australian Federal Government. And this was completed last year. I'm especially grateful to all of the staff who participated in that programme. We were very successful, and importantly, the Australian Federal Government has accepted the recommendations from the programme and has awarded us further grant funding to see implementation of those standards across the educational sector. The standards have now been launched and are accessible through an online hub, and I'd recommend that fellows have a look at the standards and promote them to colleagues across other disciplines throughout the health sector. One of the things that we've needed to look at across the years has been how to bring on board colleagues from other disciplines. We're a medical college, so that has to be confined to medical disciplines, but there's certainly no shortage of persons who wish to be a part of the faculty, but who for various reasons may not be in a position to take on full fellowship. This has led to consideration of an affiliate membership model, and importantly, this is something of interest right the way across ANSCA. At a recent meeting of the ANSCA executive leadership team, there was a discussion about what this might mean for the college, and there was agreement that a pilot project looking at affiliate membership could be put into place, and that pilot would take place within the faculty. So that's an exciting development in terms of expanding our professional reach into other disciplines. Perhaps the last few words I have will be just some general observations of the role. This is a very demanding role. It requires constant liaison across a huge range of disciplines. We have an advantage as a multidisciplinary platform in that we have contacts with people working across many sectors. The difficulty with that is that we constantly have to reach out, make connections, and liaise with people, and sometimes work our way through disagreements. There's also the inevitable political landmines along the way. One of the things about dealing with political entities is they're even busier than we are, and deadlines are often very short, very demanding. So for someone like myself, it's been incredibly important to remain disciplined, particularly with my time. I needed to hit the ground running when I started, and my colleague, Professor Michael Veltman, who will be taking over from me in May, will also need to do the same. All of us have the advantage of an amazing team, and I'm especially grateful to all of the staff in the FPM office, led by our Executive Director, Martina Otten, who do an incredible job to support us all. I'd also specifically like to thank our colleagues in the ANSCA office in New Zealand, who have been equally supportive, particularly in some very trying times. I would also like to thank my colleagues on the faculty board, who have been tireless in their work for the faculty and for all of the fellowship. They've been a great support to me, and I know that they'll continue to support Michael Veltman. So at this time, I bid you adieu. Stay with the faculty, stay involved, and keep us moving forward. Thank you for your time and your support of the fellowship.